All right. Welcome aboard, everybody. This is A Stranger in a Strange Land, and I am in Las Vegas. You might be able to tell by the palm trees. I don't think there's any obvious signs around, but this is where I am. It's late October, and it's beautiful, and it's sunny out. And I enjoy that. I don't really waste any time on gambling when I'm out here. I was out here for a trade show. And so, yeah. Sign in the background. But yeah, I don't waste any time on slots. If I do any gambling, it's usually sports gambling. And even then, most of the time I'm just like, why bother? I like to come here for, I don't know, it's about the shortest flight you can take from Vancouver and get to some place that is sunny. And, soak in the atmosphere. So go ahead and hit like, hit subscribe, and who knows, you may like some of the stuff that comes up, you may not. It doesn't really matter to me, to be honest. I do not function financially on this channel. I make zero, which is fine. I don't want to make any money off it, really. I don't care. And the reality is, every place is a strange land now. And I feel like a stranger just about everywhere I go. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, by the time you're watching this, it's probably going to be past November 1st, past October 30th, actually. That's the actual date. And once that day rolls around, those of us who live in Canada are no longer allowed to leave the country through any means without a vaccine passport. I suppose you could go to the ocean and swim to a port of entry, maybe. I don't know, but really it's completely blocked off. You can't fly, you can't get on the train, you can't cross into the United States. So that's it. That's effectively the end, right? So, I mean, a lot of people are looking for different places to live, right? You know, one school of thought would be, should I stay behind and, fight it out in Canada, see things through? Is that an option? Or should I just say, you know what, fuck it. This isn't my country anymore. Let's go somewhere else. Well, I've actually been waffling back between both positions myself. Should I stay or should I go? And I mean, I guess as of October 31st, that decision will be made for me. I will stay. Despite this one last trip, I mean, I have contemplated, just coming down here, staying maybe for a few months, maybe applying to live down here. Those are all options, but they're not great options, right? They're not great options when you've worked and you've built a life and you've built a business and everybody has stuff back home, right? Kids have sports and friends and activities, all of that stuff. It's really hard to leave that on a day's notice. Pets as well. I have a dog, I have a cat. So ultimately I have made the decision to stay behind. There's the Las Vegas outlet sign, maybe you can see that. Just to verify that I'm not using a green screen behind me. I'm actually in Las Vegas. I guess the sun and the temperature should pretty much confirm that. But so, obviously the other school is, should you leave for a place where there's a lot more freedom? And I think that question is actually being answered for us as well. Now, for example, when I came down here, I've been down here for about 6 days, and I'm doing things here that I can no longer do in Canada. I have lived, I'm a Canadian citizen. I've lived in Canada all my life, paid taxes, raised and raising kids, and yet I can't go into a restaurant without taking a vaccine shoved into my arm, right? And let me first, I guess, clarify my position on that vaccine. You hear a lot of different things on it, right? So let me be clear on what I think. There's the rental car. So I don't think that everybody taking the vaccine is going to die. I don't think that there's microchips in the vaccine. I don't think that there's any kind of, I don't know. I think the vaccine is more or less as advertised. Well, actually, no, that's incorrect. I shouldn't say as advertised. It's advertised as a vaccine, and clearly it's not. It's a therapeutic. It seems to mitigate the worst effects of the virus so far. But, you know, we are seeing, you know, I don't know if I'll get this yanked down for going too deep into vaccines and COVID, but we are seeing more and more people that have been vaccinated suffering from COVID and having more and more severe symptoms from COVID. So I guess they'll need a booster. Ultimately, I think it's too soon to, it's really too soon to have a definitive answer one way or the other. Most people would disagree with that, but that's how I see it. And that's kind of been my position from the beginning. When the vaccine came out, I said, look, I won't touch that thing until at least a year. When it's been on the market a year, then I would feel somewhat comfortable taking it, I suppose. And even then, my position has been, I don't know that, from all the statistical evidence I've seen, I don't think that COVID is really that great of a threat. You know, if you were a person that's immune compromised, or you had cancer or something, you know, that severely compromises your immune system and you're older, then absolutely I would consider taking it, right? But I don't fit into that category. I'm fairly healthy, and I will add, as of yesterday, I have been tested. Now I'm starting to lose track. It's either, I think it's 11 times I have had a COVID test, and I've been negative every single time. Negative. And I even had the antibodies test about a little over a month ago, and I've never had it. So I thought that was interesting. But nevertheless, if I do take it, it will probably be sometime in January, and only then if I'm convinced that there's no long-term negative effects from it. And even then, I'm only taking it for the simple reason that it's becoming impossible to live without taking it. Like I said, I've grown up, I've lived in BC just about all of my life, and now I can't go to a football game. I can't coach a team. Just the other day, I was informed with two games left in a youth football season that I've been coaching. I was informed that without a vaccine passport, I can no longer be on the field to coach, be on the field during games, or even volunteer in any capacity. And bear in mind, this is after I went through a police background check, the pedophile check, did a seminar on sports, concussions in sports, given up 10 hours a week for the last about 10 weeks, I suppose, standing in the rain, standing in the wind, giving up every weekend, early Saturday mornings, all of that, and now you're out, right? Just on 1 day's notice, not even 1 day's notice. It was just instant notice, right? 2 days ago, Wednesday, an email came through and said that anybody that has not been vaxxed or has been vaxxed needs to provide that. Anybody that does not provide the proof of their vaccination needs to cannot be present, right, in any capacity. So that's what it is. I mean, you know, to me it's very insulting, and it's a real it's very disrespectful and not very well thought out, especially for an outdoor sport, especially when cases are going down. But again, you know, I'll shrug it off. I got other shit to do, man. I don't need to coach football to get through my week. I have lots of other stuff I can do. But again, kids are getting fucked, right? Like, I mean, these youth and amateur sports are really stretched thin as it is. And now, you know, even if they lose just 10% of the coaches over this, that's going to be the end for a lot of teams, right? It's going to be just that much harder. It's going to be, there's just going to be that many more people that say, fuck, I just don't want to bother doing this. Let's find a different activity, or here's a video game, play that. Maybe that's what they want. Maybe they really want to do everything they can to discourage youth sports for ulterior motives, who knows. But anyways, that was a bit of a divergent rant. Back to Las Vegas. So there are differences here. I was at a Golden Knights hockey game just the other day. No Vax Pass required. I've been to restaurants every day that I've been here, no Vax Pass required. But we do see the whole global police state, let's call it that. Let's call it a global police state creeping in. You know, you walk through an indoor public place now and pretty well everyone is wearing a mask. Even if it's not mandatory, I think people have just gotten so used to it that it's de facto mandatory. And I was walking through a casino and I was looking at everybody walking past me with these like zombies with these masks strapped over their face. And I thought this would have been completely unthinkable just 2 years ago. But here it is. It's a reality. Now, I know a lot of people, and you know, places differ from, things vary and differ from place to place, but there is some effect everywhere, right? No place is completely untouched, and the ones that are, if there are any, you don't have access to them. It's a pipe dream for you. So a lot of people seem to think that COVID is a distraction from bigger issues, but I don't think that's the case. I really think this is the big issue. Whatever you see as important, if you're living in a police state, good luck addressing it. You know, if you think immigration is an issue for you, you're not gonna be that concerned with immigration when you're living in a pod, taking booster shots every 6 months and getting your protein from insects, right? And that's really where we're headed. So yes, Las Vegas is nicer, but I think we need to remove the mentality of just abandoning ship and going to a different place. Because if we all do that, then, you know, we're essentially just rats leaving a sinking ship when probably, and that's the only ship we have. So I think really we should all strongly consider staying where we are and pushing back against this juggernaut that is rolling over us, right? So I am headed to the airport. Wish me luck. It will not be a fun experience, and we'll see if I am in quarantine in a couple days. Until then,